Okay, now we start recording also. So I'm presenting to you this webinar about ruling reality, and I hope you see very well the meeting and everything. So I am a ruling reality coach, and I would like to speak more with you regarding this topic of how to master your reality and why it's existential to do it in order to explode actually into your personal potential. So now maybe you can put in the chat, and I've got a quick question for you. And actually, there are going to be around 10 questions. So during this webinar, it is going also to be a questionnaire, because actually for me personally, questions are very important. Some of you know that we are saying questions are the steering wheel of the mind, but also for me personally, I have accepted this, that always I am making my questions to become bigger than my answers. So let's start with the first question, guys. And the first question is, are you living your life to its true potential? Please put in the chat if you can say boldly enough, yes, I'm living into a full potential, or you can say, no, I'm very far away from where I want to go. When I was 17 years old, I thought that life is before me. Yes, it's good for Luke. It's Anna Marie is closer to her potential, but you can put in the chat where you are. And meanwhile, I'm going to explain you how I feel about it. I'm 48 years now, and I feel like I'm just starting to explode. And actually, during my years that I have been here, I was just waiting something to happen. So actually I decided to stop waiting and to start exploding. So thank you for everything that you're putting in the chat. So the ruling reality is helping those of us, like me personally, I was waiting for a lot of years to actually start generating. It is helping those of us that are affected. Everything that is happening, we are saying that it is hard, it is hardship, it is happening to us, and so on. Actually, to start influencing, and those of us that are constantly changing, to stop just changing ourselves, but to actually start ruling, to know everything that is happening with us, why it's happening, and to actually know where we are going forward. So you can see on my logo, I have put there that we are the one that are ruling from our inner being. We are rulers. We are limitless inside of us, but also we daily experience limitations around us. We know that maybe there is something above. We are a lot afraid, some of us, if there should be anything below. But anyhow, we are going to explore further with another question. Quick question for you again, just put in the chat. Is it true that outer world, everything that is around us, is actually following our own personal inner world? Just put in the chat. Yes, no, I'm not sure, Alex, what you're talking about. I'm not familiar with this topic, so whatever, just interact with me, and I feel in this way that we're actually together. It doesn't matter about all the space that is separating us. I can feel you that we are interacting together. So thank you for these answers that you have put in the chat. More of you are saying yes, which is good. But of course, if you are sincere and if you think that it is not exactly what you think, you can put no. This is something that is an environment where we are free to chat with ourselves. So the 4 reality questions that I'm going to explore during these webinars are how reality actually works. If you already know all the answers, this webinar is maybe not for you, but if you're willing to explore a little bit, just stay with me. How to interact in the limitations of the outer reality. Then we are going to explore how to make a real, actual, visible, tangible reality shifts, and also how to measure our influence upon the reality. Well, many of us can think that there are things that are unmeasurable, but I can prove you that there are ways to measure everything. Result disclaimers for this webinar is that ruling your own reality will not make you more human. This is not a personal development webinar. This is not something that needs to happen with any of us. So if you start ruling your own reality, it will not make you less limited. Ruling reality will not make you 100% successful. This is not a success webinar where I can guarantee you 100% success within the next week. It is going to be wonderful if I can do this for you, but I'm going to give you something beyond this, which is even more important, because success and failure, they are working together. So it doesn't matter actually how much you are experiencing, at least you are going to learn to experience more success. Ruling reality will not make you attached. My goal and this webinar is not something that is willing to attach you, because you're going to learn, many of us have already learned in our life, that actually the beauty of life is if we are able to stay unattached to anything. So my case study and who I am: before I was 137 kilograms person that have been living my life. I didn't think it is important to master my reality. And now in the after period, in the last 2 years, maybe the COVID also helped, I was willing to challenge myself. It happened so that I realized that actually, instead of waiting, instead of trying constantly to change something, better to start mastering reality. And I'm going to explain further how I can achieve a totally different, visible, tangible change into my own personal reality. So another question for you: what is the number one takeaway you are actually looking for from today's webinar? Maybe for some of you, it is just to look at me, to see, well, let's see what Alex can do. What is Alex willing to share with us? Maybe you want to understand at least one thing about reality. Put in the chat what is the number one takeaway for you from this webinar. I would like to stay active because it's helping all of us to become more and more interconnected now while we are speaking together. Also, all of us who are daring to pursue the impossible, this is how I designed and made this webinar to be. All of you that are willing to influence, create, shift, achieve, succeed, interact, and impact. There are some of us that are not willing to go into this direction. And I understand this position also, but if you are willing to go into these 7 things and to understand them, then you can stay with me more into the webinar. My goal for this webinar is to actually ultimately position ourselves as limitless beings. This positioning is happening in our minds, and then to learn why we are experiencing limitations and to learn to work with this paradox. Limitless insight, experience reality limitations daily, and to understand how to move through reality with working with this paradox. Also, mastering reality is existential for us to interact efficiently. If you want just to interact, any one of us is anyhow interacting, but if you want to do it efficiently and create lasting impact, not yo-yo effects in different areas of our life. Now I'm good, I'm good only for my inner circle of people. I can be different in other areas of life. No, I'm speaking about lasting, tangible impacts that we can create in life. So another question for you, and please stay active with me. What, in your opinion, is the purpose of life? I'm asking you this question now because I'm going to tell you the story about one student who was very eager to ask this question in the end of every professor's lecture. And when the professor asks, is there any more questions? He always asks, well, tell me what is the purpose of life? And everybody starts laughing. So please put in the chat, according to you, what is the purpose of life? Because if we don't understand the answer, we cannot understand how correctly to deal and to work with reality. If you want, put something in the chat. If you want, you can keep it personal for you. Meanwhile, I'm going to share, according to me, what are the main purposes of life. So basically, life is to experience it and to gather awareness. All of us are just willing to live it. Maybe we don't understand it, but we want to experience it. We want to feel it. There is a big feeling movement in the moment. All of us are willing just to feel life. For example, some of us are willing to gather more and more and more awareness. But I will tell you later a lot of more things. Also, for me personally, this was a very big thing that I realized, that to consciously impact reality and leave legacy is also very important. I thought that my purpose of life is to leave legacy for my children. Then I realized that actually right now during this webinar, I am creating my legacy. I'm living now my legacy through interacting with you and through impacting each other. So why I'm qualified to speak about ruling the reality, and why I have called myself and why I want to be a ruling reality coach. Well, my personal story has brought me to this conclusion that this is actually my passion, and because this is something that I'm anyhow authentically daily using in my own personal life. My wife for sure can tell you about this, that this is something that is my passion, but also for me, yes, it is a passion. Also, I have dedicated one of my working days only for educating and helping other people. Personally, in my inner being, during all my years, I was not eager to go into this direction, but I decided to start helping and interacting and impacting others, and also ruling reality makes me enthusiastic. The real verse is actually more entertaining than the so-called metaverse. I'm very eager about this because I have kids playing computers. Maybe you have kids playing computers. How to explain them? That life is beautiful, that life is magical, that life is interesting, if we don't understand why, what is actually happening. So this is me. If you are like me, if you have been struggling with boredom in different areas, we can describe this word, because you have achieved it all. I personally have achieved a lot of things, and I was wondering, shall I retire now? What shall I do after I already mastered the achievement process? But inside of me, I was not happy. Maybe this, if you are like me, you haven't found the reason why life is entertaining, why life is magical. What is the reason behind this? Why life is created like this? Why reality is like this? If you have been too busy to succeed, like some of us and are even eager to sacrifice a lot of things. Maybe you are just retranslating and not genuinely generating. These two words are very important for me, and I hope they can become steering your mind. A lot of our time is just used for retranslating other people's thoughts, other people's realities, other people's visions. Better to become authentic and to start generating genuinely. So learn how reality works the hard way. Alex, I know that you're speaking about something that is common to me, but let me give you some questions. You can ask me why negative things happen to me. Maybe even you can put in the chat something related to reality that have been in your mind for some times. Also, if I could change something in the outer reality, what is? Maybe you want to create constant peace in our human environment. Maybe you want to create something wonderful only for yourself. These are questions that we have asked ourselves. My past was not fair. Some of us can think about this. Also, if I could order a different future, is it possible at all? But anyhow, these are some of the questions we are learning through the reality processes. And now I'm going to share with you my 3 obvious musts you need to start learning and mastering in order to understand how reality works. Why I like the word obvious? Because according to me, the truth and the essence of life is hidden in the obvious. That's why a lot of us cannot see it, cannot grasp it. Even one lifetime cannot be enough. So the first thing is stop bending reality. Stop trying to control it. Then generate what you want. A lot of us can say it's impossible. And then trust the processes that already exist, and please do only your part. Then I've got a quick question again for you, and please put it in the chat. What, in your opinion, is the most difficult of the given 3 for you? The control of the outer reality, to innovate and to generate from outside, from inside of you, because you actually don't know what exactly you are supposed to do. You want somebody to tell you. If it's this thing difficult for you, just put it in the chat. And for some of us, it's difficult to trust. For me personally, maybe the most difficult thing was the innovative thing, the generating thing. Though I was very good in this, I always trusted that somebody else is helping me and so on. So I was not so active with intent, focus, goals, and so on. But you can put in the chat what is it for you. So the obvious one is bending reality. Then what we can say, reality cannot be changed, only influenced. Rome is not built for one day. We know through nature that nothing is happening simultaneously, almost never. Then reality is perfect as it is from the perspective of all. This is something we, as beings now working in this environment, cannot grasp. We can never say that reality is perfect when we look in the outer world, but then if you objectively are able to look based on the condition of the people in the moment, then it becomes a different topic. We can speak a lot about this topic. Also, if you don't like what is the outside of you, you cannot change it, but at least you can give your influence to the reality. So once you change, reality starts shifting because you are creating this balance. Actually, reality is always balanced to who you are in the given moment. In one sense, even change is an illusion. You never change. Actually, you are just expressing more of what you already are. You cannot change reality. The outer reality, you cannot change directly, but you have the power in you. You have the will that is given to you to at least start processes inside of you. Reality shifts appears gradually once you have start the process of change. And I will give you a success story now. I reduced my weight to 90 kilograms in 8 months, and I improved my health because I was using this principle that I can actually influence reality, and I really wanted to create a tangible shift in order to understand if it is real that actually the outer reality is following my inner state in order to be long-term balanced into what I have decided to be. I changed my view to the teams around me. My success is only possible if surrounded by successful and well-being teammates. This is important for me. My relationship with wife, family, teams, authenticity, purpose, legacy is also something that is changing, at least in my personal life. So this is about bending reality. So the number 2 obvious is generating what you want. A lot of us can say, well, Alex, it is good to write something on a webinar, but reality is much more different. Well, actually, we're exploring this reality that is much more different than what we think reality is. So another quick question for all of you. Have you ever generated something that you wanted in life, but did not know that you actually influenced it? Something that you really wished for, it happened, you are very happy, you didn't know exactly how and why, and did you deserve it or not, but it happened. Put in the chat if anyhow, by coincidence even, you have sometimes in your life generated something. Some of us are saying about generating reality. I knew it exactly as I said. For example, Alex, I knew it that there are not going to be many people on your first webinars. And you see, it's exactly as I said. It's a beautiful thing, at least something that you knew or I knew happened. Then, only things I do not want happen to me. I know such people that are complaining, and usually they come into this category. Also, why I'm never in control. This is a question that some of us are asking. So these questions are just telling us that there is maybe something inside of us that is helping us to actually understand that there is something more and we need to learn how to master it. We experience what we have generated before. This is the actual truth. Today, on the 14th of April, 2022, I am experiencing in my reality, and you are experiencing in your reality only the things that have been generated centuries ago, years ago, months ago, from other human beings. We are experiencing, some of us, freedom today because people fought for it in the past. Some of us have mobile telephones because somebody has imagined, generated it, and created it for all of us to use it. And it is on the global scheme and also in our personal life. I'm experiencing right now this webinar because I have been preparing for approximately 3, 4, 5 months. First, it was in my head, then it came into my heart. Then I start feeling it and moving into my guts. Then I started to care about this thing to appear in my reality. I put commitment into it. And now this reality that I'm experiencing right now in this very moment is because of something generated before. Today we generate what we will experience next year, year after today, or 20 years from now. What I'm generating personally, and you can answer yourself the question, what are you generating personally? I'm generating right now the future of a ruling reality coach. Just an example. We decide that what we want to experience through our intent, our will, our focus is given to us in order to be able to maneuver and to decide what we want to generate. So we are programmable and can reprogram what we generate. This is also an important topic. Also, our potential is limitless. This is very important to understand, that we never need to become good enough in order to start doing something. You can see me. I'm a guy who has never done webinars. This is my first webinars, but I know inside of me that I'm limitless, and it doesn't matter how little of success I'm experiencing right now. I know where is the potential. So this is my choice. Also, we can't generate right now unique realities. I'm sitting in my living room. Some of you are sitting in your homes. You see your screen. You see Alex just explaining something. But we are living actually in common holographic objective reality generated by the conscious intent of each one of us. I have people working under me right now while I'm communicating and interacting with you, but all of us are actually creating this holographic reality all over the world. And basically, I can just share with you one thought that bugged me for some time. Why there are some thoughts in some people that maybe the humanity needs to be less than, I don't know how many millions. Then it is going to be perfect for the ecosystem, for the universe, and we don't need to be so much. But my personal view is totally opposite. It is like the pixels in the screen. As more of us conscious, limitless beings there are on this planet, the more vivid the reality is. The picture is more interesting. It is more lively. That's why it is allowed in our objective reality today, we to be as many as we are. So we have to be held accountable about all we generate. If we have this power, be sure that all of us are accountable to ourselves and to our interactions with all the others around us. And also, even if we are just retranslating, we are still accountable. So let me give you the story that I have recently in the last year with one of my mentees. He's Ben Amo from Ghana. And on the 26th of September, he wrote to me. He wanted to communicate with me. And I exchanged some videos with him about generating reality. We spoke and chatted, made some interaction. The internet is not so good there, so we cannot communicate like with you now through Zoom for a lot of time. But his big dream was to earn and have 5,000 real material dollars. And in his moment of time, he was earning just $500 per month. And on the 18th of March, he called me and said, Alex, just to tell you, now maybe he has positioned himself differently, but you see what is his objective now. He has found investors that are willing, together with him, to invest more than 20 million in Ghana. Is this reality shifting? Still not rock solid, but something has started. So one of the options is reality is rock solid and we cannot do anything about it. Then we know now that there is a different path. The third obvious is trust the process and do your work. So actually right now, Benjamin Amo, my friend that I spoke about, is now also joining from Ghana. So I hope he hears me well. And the third obvious is to trust the process and do your part. What about the processes? How many of you can fly? We don't have wings, but because we are limitless inside of us, we are creating tools. We can fly, all of you can fly through airplanes. These are the tools that the imagination that we have as human beings have created because this limitlessness inside of us is working. So master the existing processes in order to rule reality. We have done it through the atomic engines and all this atomic energy, but actually we're just mastering a process that is already here. Also, when we sow a seed, we observe the process of growth, we do our part, but actually this is a process that is growing everything. And in life, it is like this. These are processes that are working. It is not something that we directly create. So reality is not linear. We know mathematics, we know geometrics, we think that everything is straight lines, but actually the real world, it's not this. And everything follows the path of last resistance. This is one obvious truth. Processes cannot be seen, but we see the effects of their existence. This is very important because what we observe with our five senses are only the effects of the invisible but constant processes we call laws. So what I'm stating here today is that with our five senses, we do not see everything that reality is. So I'm telling you that actually through the vision, we are seeing less than 1 to 3% of what actually is. And that's why we need to start seeing the unseeable and start listening to what is not possible to be heard. Also, to master trusting the processes is more important than trying to change them. And this is what makes us conscious beings. So my success story about trusting the processes is how I realized this. Okay, the moment when I heard something like this in a webinar, the same moment I decided to test it. Immediately on the day when I heard it, I said, I'm going to try it. I changed my identity. I saw myself as a 90 kilogram person while I was 137, and everything material around me was willing to tell me something different, but I wanted to say, to check if this is working. And actually, what did I do? My work was only to eat twice less. So one day I ate, the other day I didn't. Only in this way, I was sure everything was measurable and I was eating twice less. And actually, I started a process called intermittent fasting that did the job for me. It was not me that lost weight. The processes that I was mastering actually did the work for me. So another quick question for you. Have you ever trusted a process and something that you wanted in life changed for you? You can put it in the chat. And this is the recap for the moment. We have learned to stop bending reality. We have learned that anyhow, we as human beings are generating something, and it's better to generate something that we want, because even if we like it or not, it doesn't matter if you're just retranslating and you're just living like this, sluggishly, for example. We are anyhow a generating reality beings, and we are consciously impacting it. So trust the process, do your part is the third obvious must. So I'm presenting to you through the ruling reality a new way. I'm telling you that actually reality is subject to influence, and the big four ruling reality questions. Just imagine if we are in the first 7 to 10 years of our life and we had such an education where we have not learned history, physics, and so on, which is good, but actually how reality works for me on a daily level, how to interact with the limitations of reality, how to actually make reality shifts, and how to measure something that looks like intangible and unmeasurable. It's very easy to measure something that is concrete, very limited, but if something is moving all the time, how can we measure? And well, who thinks till now that actually I'm convincing enough that mastering reality is existential and awesome? Just put it in the chat if you think that this is something that is awesome. I would like now to see something put in the chat, because this is why I spend so much time, and this is why you are working with me. Thank you, Sebastian. You think that this is awesome, that mastering reality is awesome. Wayne says absolutely. So thank you, all of you that are willing to explore and move forward into this matter. So the tool that I have created for myself personally, and I'm willing to offer it for all of you, and my co-host lady that is helping me can put in the chat my webpage and so on, so you can go further into it and explore it. And of course, some of you already know about this, and I have called it Ruling Reality Basics Program. It is an entry-level program about ruling reality. What you are getting if you go into this direction with me, you will learn to work with the real life experiences of intently influencing reality. You are going to start interact and understand the limitations of reality. You are going to start making reality shifts. Also, you are going to learn how to actually measure this influence. And Ruling Reality Basic Program that I have created, I have described also in the webpage. It is 28 videos that I have recorded during the last 4 or 5 months. And I did it in order to summarize and to structure what I already am doing for myself. And it is working for myself, and I'm enjoying doing it. But because anyhow, I decided to share it, when I put my intent to create more success in my company, for example, I said, well, if I don't surround myself with successful co-workers, if they don't understand how to be successful, how to interact, how can I do it alone? So I decided to share as much as possible with all of you that are watching me right now. So I would like to engage into weekly Zoom Q&A calls with you, and they're going to be on the Mondays. Then I'm going to engage into sharing calls where each of us is going to work strongly into expressing himself and what's happening in his reality. And I have created something that is called Ruling Reality Tracker. Why? I'm sure that what I'm creating is actually genuine, because it is something that I am working with and using daily, and it is 100% tangible for me, and I would like to share it with all of you that are interested. Benefits of this program is that within 30 days, for sure, you're going to learn The processes are more important than effects. All of us are searching for effects. I don't search anymore for cars, for riches, to have a lot of more wealth. I have enough wealth and I'm obtaining much more wealth, which I'm mastering, but this is not what is important for me. To master the processes, to work with reality is where my passion is. Learn that how is not of our own business. We cannot learn all which is. We can only learn to master. Even if you master only one principle in your life, it is more than enough. Begin to rule your own reality. Begin to master your own reality. These are the first client of the program. This is me. It is working for me. I am my first client. I have one other person from Ireland that called me yesterday. He said, Alex, I looked about your program. I liked what it's all about. I'm going to pay. So really next week, he's going to pay also for the program. And who this program is going to work for, only for those that are willing to explore the impossible. If you want to comply, if you want just to stay like you are, it is not going to be interesting. But if you are from these ones that are actually interested in reality shifts, and those of us that are actually willing to start interacting with reality. So if you need help with deepening your experience, it is included in the program through this communication interaction during this month. If you need something like step-by-step guidance, everything will be based on my personal experience. I'm going to share it there. And if all this program did was to help you start shifting your personal reality, would it be worth it for you? Once I realized about this, it was worth for me. I immediately redeemed the money I invested because I immediately started my shifts. Put in the chat and tell me, is it something that is worth it for you if you start mastering it? So what is it worth to you personally if you are able to master your reality, to understand what is happening and to start influencing it in a much deeper level? This is a question. You can put it in the chat. It doesn't mean to be a figure. You can put it, it is okay, I'm interested, and so on and so on. So I have created this 30 days intro basic videos and interaction for a price of $500. And you can go into my webpage and can pay directly. Actually, I was the first one that paid $500 through my webpage for my program, because actually I'm the first one that participated in it. So don't worry, you can go there, it is working. Also, a fast action bonus I'm willing to create for the first 10 of you that are engaging into it. Even if you look it and see it in the recordings, you can still engage, and you are going to receive a 1,000 voucher bonus from me, an additional call, and the voucher bonus is for a more expensive and deepening 6 months program. You can see everything about this program also in my website if you are interested. But if you want the 1,000 voucher bonus, you need to earn it. Okay, so Ruling Reality Basic is actually 100% free if you later upgrade yourself through deepening your knowledge. Think about, where would you be in 30 days from now? I can tell you what I thought about last August when I started dreaming about one of my reality shifts. I was dreaming about having 30 students before the end of August, and my outer reality was totally unpreparedness to come close to this thing to become true for me. A lot of time has passed. I didn't change. I still am influencing reality towards having my 30 clients. And I feel in my inner being that I'm much, much closer. And gradually, this reality is actually appearing to me. So, what do you want to influence in the next 30 days? Put it in the chat below. So, this is me. If you have a scanner on your mobile phone, later you can have also the recording, so you can scan it also later, and you can go also into my webpage. And if you want to make an action, you can commit and we can start forward. Actually, the first Zoom meetings are going to start next Friday. So if there are any questions, I'm going to stop the webinar after some time now, and we are going to chat more. Also, you can book a call with me through the webpage on Calendly, and you can scan also the page, and we can have additional chats, even if you are looking at a video recording, because a lot of you couldn't come, but you can book me anytime. I'm available, I'm bookable, because I decided to create and to make myself givable. When I decided to start giving myself, I thought it's an easy process. Well, I just share with some people and they immediately will flock to me. No, I need to become something so people are willing to connect with me. So this is what I'm doing now. So thank you for watching my webinar. I hope I didn't lose a lot of your time, so I was able to do it. So I'm stopping sharing now, and we can have a free chat with all of you that are just willing to share something. Anyhow, more of you I know. So if any one of you want to share something, just feel free. Or somebody, if he has a question, he can ask a question.
Yeah, Alex, Gaia has a question. He asked that, okay, I didn't quite get the difference between bending reality and influencing reality.
Just a second. Yes, this is a very interesting question, and as all the politicians are saying, and basically what I mean by bending reality is when you are trying immediately and directly to influence the outer world without first creating change within yourself that is worthy in order this reality to appear before you. I was thinking a lot about this question. How I understand who am I? Only if I look deep inside of me, is it enough? I can close myself and look inside of me for years. Is it enough? Or if I start interacting with reality, and if I know that they're always balanced, then through my reality experiencing, I'm understanding more about me, because then I'm experiencing hardship. I will give you just one allegory that I just heard maybe 2-3 days ago. How and why actually all of us are lighting and creating, so to say, light in this world. Why? And we are shining in this world. It is happening because if you see an old lamp with plus and minus, and between this there is a conductor, and actually this resistance between the plus and minus is actually creating the shyness. So once we are consciously influencing reality, then actually we are vividly starting to shine, because only through the deeds, only from what we see that we are causing, we understand actually what we are. This is my answer. It's a short one, but anyhow, I will have 2-3 more days, especially with Gaia, to talk on this topic. If somebody else have a specific question, he can ask me. And maybe in 5 minutes we'll end the session, but I would like to hear if any one of you would like to say something. And yeah, if you don't want to say something, it's not necessary. I can continue sharing some stories. For example, when I was expressing some of this information with my co-workers, because they were my first people with which I was expressing this knowledge, and I was telling them about, I gave them this Peter Sage book that was translated in Bulgarian, about his, he have a different name in Bulgarian. And then I was thinking, and I was explaining with some Zoom sessions to my people approximately what I wanted in my company to happen. And then one of the ladies told me one day, she's from Clarence, Alex, I really liked what you were telling, and to dare and to change myself, and I decided to leave your company. And I said, why have you decided to leave my company? And she said, well, because actually I want to be a doctor. This was my burning desire for all of my life. And now, am I happy or not? I'm 100% happy because she's now into her authentic self. Let's see now, John. He has a question also. Thank you, John.
Hi, Alex. Thanks. It's been quite interesting what you're talking about here. I was just interested where you came across all this information, this idea of ruling reality. Just a couple of seconds on that.
Yes. All this information about ruling reality came within my view of thinking during these webinars, these live seminars that I had with Peter Sage. Also, I have been in EMF program, 6-month program with him, and then I entered another program with him. So actually, through this work and program, I have understood a lot of things about this. Also, I'm a trainer for his program, which is a 6-month program, which is much more involving, but based on everything I heard, I just wanted to construct something that is very basic and is actually able to help and attract people to at least test trial this information. Is it okay?
Yeah. Thanks.
And anyhow, this information is becoming more and more tangible and valuable for me. So that's why I'm willing to express it in different steps. If somebody has other questions, he can ask me also. And otherwise, in 2 minutes, we are going to end the call. And I thank you, all of you, for supporting me and participating into this event. And we are just influencing reality, and then we are going to enjoy, because everything that is happening, as some of you are knowing, is going to be as good as we think, or it can be much, much more better. So thank you for joining me today. And I hope you have enjoyed it, and you can contact me anytime if you later hear the recording. Okay. Thank you all. I'm just ending this session, and who is willing to join me, he can do it through my webpage. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Alex. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you all for participating. Ама тя трябва да сложи. Не знам как да го затворя.
Там не викаш, искаш ли с това да си говориш? Да, вече се сам предвиднахме.
Ами не знам дали ще стоп рекординг.
Натисни, там горе рекординг, хайде. Ясно стоп, ясно бутон.